Bloomington is very, very fortunate because we have the university as our economic engine. And when the rest of the country has these big tsunami waves in their economy, Bloomington has steady as she goes waves. So when the rest of the country goes way up, Bloomington tends to go up a little. And when the rest of the country goes way down, Bloomington just goes down a little bit.
Housing across America started to go downhill, so to speak, in '06 and '07. It really hit full force in '08 and then into early '09, and we've seen some comeback in some areas of the nation since then up until now. In general, I think that you'd have to say housing across the nation is still not where we need it to be in terms of what our economy needs. Housing is one of the biggest things that pushes our entire economy. But in Bloomington specifically, we've been a little bit immune to the typical cycles that have been in play.
We're one of the few communities in Indiana that has survived the financial losses of most communities, Indianapolis being one where values are mostly pretty depressed. So we've been very fortunate here, and I think that's largely attributable to the fact that Indiana University is still a very strong employer. Also, we're very fortunate to have Cook and Baxter here, which continue to be strong employers. And of course the medical community. We're just really lucky to have the mix of employment here in Bloomington that has not been subject to a lot of downturn.
So in terms of how the recession is affecting my personal business, not really so much. However, how the local government is affecting our business is really major. With the excessive housing being approved and built in the downtown area that exceeds any demand is really kind of disturbing, which leads to like vacancies which would not normally be vacant.
We're a smaller company. We are downtown. I chose to move to a company that was more location specific so as to secure my opportunity for growth and employment. But the same thing. I mean, we've seen rates drop. We've seen, especially with the housing crunch, we've been required to be more flexible with certain rates in order to ensure an occupancy rate, a healthy occupancy rate, basically. You also had people looking for cheaper housing. Apartments are going to be one of the first industries hit by a housing crunch or by a recession because you've got people with options, a lot of options, and one of the first things people say is, well, it's got heat, it's got a roof, it's got water, it's got your basic appliances, and I've got my stuff, and basically that's it.
So overall, I think that you can look at the Bloomington market and say that we've weathered the storm very, very well. I also would say that for the future, I'm feeling very optimistic right now about the Bloomington market, and we've always bounced back, and we bounce back relatively quickly whenever we've had even a downturn in just part of the market.
We've seen little difference in the economic downturn with our business. All of our properties are rented. We're at 100% capacity. We haven't decreased our rents at all during the economic downturn. They've stayed the same, if not gone up a bit, as our taxes have risen a little bit. That's it. The business is good in Bloomington.